For the next 3 months, we'll be following the man they call the Ice Warrior, Jim McNeill.
He's the British explorer on a NASA mission to measure the depth of the polar ice cap and find out how fast it's really melting.
We'll be following his progress as he treks across the Arctic towards one of the most remote places on Earth. He'll be keeping us up to date about his gruelling expedition. This is day one of his diary.
An absolutely exhausting day. There's about 5 hours of sunlight now. I've got a hugely heavy sled, 155 kilos, and I'm having to pull it through broken ice. I've only managed to do something like 6 miles, and it's suddenly turned very cold. So cold, in fact, that the temperature measuring devices are in the base of my hulk, and I'm afraid I'm too cold and exhausted to get them out. Tomorrow's another day. 1 or 2 problems with the stoves here as well, which I'll hope to sort out. Apart from that, I will be plugging on.
We've been following the British explorer Jim McNeill on his NASA mission to the most remote parts of the Arctic to measure the depth of the ice and to see how fast it's melting. Here's the latest instalment of Jim's Ice Warrior diary.
Well, over the past few days, I've been busy planning my return to the ice, and one of the things I've been concentrating on here in Resolute are the weather conditions and the sea ice conditions. And it's really over the past 5 years that things have really started to essentially warm up in the Arctic. The latest satellite image from NASA is quite horrendous. Not only do we have that huge lead that stopped me in the first place, but we also have a fracturing of the very old sea ice. There are huge global issues going on that are affecting the sea ice. But, I'm going to make a plan in the next few days and see where we go from that. I'll let you know what that plan is.
Here on ITV News, we've been bringing you our special worldwide investigation into climate change.
Yes, as part of that series, explorer Jim McNeill is trekking to the Arctic North Pole to help NASA measure the depth of the sea ice up close for the first time. Jim's mission was called off once because of bad weather and melting ice. Within the next hour, he's due to set off again.
Here is his latest instalment from the very northern tip of Canada in our series 3 Degrees from Disaster, a global investigation.
Well, I've just heard that today from the pilot and the weather people that I will be progressing onto the northern shores of Canada, where we'll refuel. I'll be leaving in about an hour's time by aircraft, which we loaded up last night. And then we'll progress about 100 or 150 miles, depending on what the weather conditions are like up there, across this broken ice that you can see with a satellite photograph. Those dark areas are patches of open water, in search of a 1,200 feet section of ice that we can land upon safely. Hopefully we'll find one of those. And then it's a case of me progressing, having been dumped off on one of those, as best I can. So, these things, satellite images show one thing. There's no substitute for actually seeing and experiencing it on the ground, though. Now, I understand just recently there's a report out about animals, and one of the things I'll be taking particular notice about are the polar bears. Certainly this year and last year, my personal experience of polar bears has been quite great. They are in abundance at the moment. There was a moratorium in the local communities about hunting polar bears, which may have added to that. But I suspect because these open waters provide them with much of their food source, they are expanding quite rapidly, despite what people say. So I'm itching to get out there, itching to get on with the expedition and gather this crucial ice and snow depth data for NASA and for the scientific community as a whole.
And for us here at ITV News, of course, that was Jim McNeill. Hello again. His mission to trek to the North Pole and witness global warming is over.
The explorer Jim McNeill, we've been calling him the Ice Warrior, was going to carry out a unique experiment for ITV News and NASA. He can't make the treacherous journey there, though, because the ice has melted. So this is his final report.
I was having a great day today until 5 o'clock this afternoon when I was crossing a bit of sea ice, about a 4-foot wide piece of sea ice with a lead underneath me. It was, to all intents and purposes, frozen underneath me. But unfortunately, my boot slipped. I slipped into the water right up to my chest, and it took me several minutes to try and heave myself out. Now, this means that, the ice up here is treacherous, and the risks are too great, in my estimation. In 22 years of doing this, I have never seen ice like this in March. This is something that happens in May, June, midsummer, really. If ever there were a witness to global climate issues and global warming, this must be it. So at 6 o'clock, I've managed to sort most of myself out. I've got a couple of toes I can't feel still, but I don't think they're frostbitten. I think it's a nerve thing. But I called an end to the expedition, and I'll get my pilot, Troy, to pick me up in the next few days. It's rather inclement weather at the moment, and so I'll spend those next 3 days looking for a suitable landing spot for him. Hopefully we'll find one not too far away.